This Jamie Metzl is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and a specialist on Asian economics and politics. He's also written this book, Hacking Darwin, Genetic Engineering and the Future of Humanity. And he joins me now. How worried should Hong Kong residents be that with this bill, if it becomes law, this is truly a legislation that will allow for Beijing to encroach even more on the sovereignty of Hong Kong?
They should be extremely worried. China has reneged on the commitments that it made in 1997. And this is one extremely egregious example because everybody knows that the Chinese court system is corrupt. Everybody knows that there are all kinds of sham allegations against people. And if people can be extradited out of Hong Kong without rule of law, without any of the protections that people normally would have as residents of Hong Kong, that's just horrific. When you look at the images from what's happening in Hong Kong, it looks like China, and I think that's what Beijing wants.
Yeah. Well, so what can be done? Is this just an inevitable slide toward more and more of Beijing encroaching on Hong Kong citizens' lives there and rights and the legislation that currently frames their lives?
It may well be because Beijing is holding a lot of the cards in Hong Kong, but that's why the world needs to stand behind these incredibly brave protesters in Hong Kong. They are standing up for their rights, and they're calling on China to live up to China's own commitments. Nobody forced China to make the commitment of the basic law of the one country, two systems. But China is now reneging on that, and kudos to the people of Hong Kong for standing up. They're not doing it at the behest of some kind of foreign power. They are doing it because they recognize that their freedom is at stake, and that's a very big deal.
But Jamie, the President of the United States was asked in the Oval Office today about what these demonstrations, and essentially he didn't really give any specifics. He said, I hope they'll work it out with China, but left it at that.
You know, we can't count on the current President of the United States to carry a message of human rights anywhere, and it's certainly unfortunate, and it's bad for the United States, and it's bad for the world. But we also need to recognize that there is a thing, human rights, democratic rights, and even if you don't believe in those things, there is just living up to international commitments that a country like China makes. And so whatever the President of the United States says, people of the world who believe in human rights should stand behind the people of Hong Kong.
Is there any hope for the people of Hong Kong?
There's some hope, and certainly their courage needs to be matched with support around the world. And so when you hear the President of the United States not taking a stand in defense of the principles of human rights that the United States has championed for so many years, that's really unfortunate. But people in Hong Kong still have more rights than anybody, frankly, in China. And they are trying to make their voices heard. But it's really, really tough because the deck is stacked against them.
All right, Jamie Metzl, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.